Hello everybody, welcome to this instruction video. In this video I'd like to show you how to make part 16 of the Crochet Along Mandala Madness designed by Helen Shrimpton. Part 16 is this part of the pattern where we're making half circles or shells and we're starting to decorate these shells. The yarn that I'm using is Cotton 8 and Sunkissed, both of them are by Scheepjes. I'll take you step by step through the rounds making up this part. I hope it's a useful video for you. Thank you for watching. Round 98. I'm currently in this first treble, this first standing treble from round 97. So that's where I'm currently in. And we're going to start by making a folding single crochet for this stitch. And that means we're going to just fold back because we're already in this stitch. I'm not going to pick up the loop, just going to fold back, and you see that back loop there, that's where the stitch is in. That back loop which we skipped, I'm going to do a single crochet in through there. Like so. So now you've folded this first stitch back here. We're going to continue and work single crochets on the back of the ruffles. Let me just show you exactly where they are. If you look here to the back, you look 2 rows down, row 96, you'll see we skipped certain stitches and we worked certain stitches only in the front loops, and those back loops and those stitches are where you're going to be working single crochets. You're going to be working 18, and you're going to start in the first single crochet of the ruffle. So this first ruffle, that first single crochet, it's in the front loop. That back loop is where you're going to do your first stitch, and then you're going to work 18, and that will bring you to the other side, to this last ruffle, that last single crochet that's there in the front loop. That back loop there is where you're going to work number 18. So from that position, that's the first single crochet, the back loop, and all these stitches back here to this position. We're going to work our single crochets in there. And just getting started is with this first folding single crochet here is of course just a little tricky, but once you get the hang of this you'll be fine. So that first single crochet here, immediately in the back loop there, I'm going to work a single crochet, so that's one. The next stitch I'm actually going to use the entire stitch because there's nothing in there. Then I'm just going to use the entire stitch. So that's 2. Then number 3 is again in the back loop because you already have something in the front loop. That's 3, and the same for 4. Number 5, I happen to have an entire stitch here because we skipped that stitch, so I'm just going to use the entire stitch because that's just as easy. That was 5, 6, 7, these 2 are back loops again. Then 8 is through an entire stitch. 9, 10, both back loops again. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Actually, that last one I could have done through an entire stitch. I'm going to do that. Then they are. Oh, I've actually skipped this one here also. You see that I was just going through all the back loops, autopilot. Don't do autopilot because then things go wrong. And these 2 are back loop. And then here I have an entire stitch again, so I'm just going to use the entire stitch. And then a few more. It's 1, 2. Here I've got the entire stitch again. And the last one, number 18, is here. You see, this here is the single crochet, that last single crochet of the ruffle, repeat that single crochet is there in the front loop. If If you look at the back loop, you see there a stitch is of the back loop. You're going to make your single crochet. If in doubt, let's just quickly count these single crochets that we just made. Remember, the first one is from the folding single crochet. You don't want to count that one. So the second one, that's this one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yes, and this is number 18. So just count your stitches if you're in doubt, if you have them all and if you have them in the correct position. So those are 18 single crochets, and now we're going to continue and make folding single crochets on all of these trebles here. And we've done this before, so this should be familiar to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip the chain 1 space, that one there. We've also skipped the chain 1 on this side, of course. That chain 1 you've also skipped on that side, but here you're skipping it also. So we skip the chain 1, and then the folding single crochet, you pick up the back loop of the treble, and you pick up the back loop of the stitch that you made the treble in. Let me just see exactly where it is because my yarn is in the way. That's that loop there. That's the stitch you made the treble into. You're going to yarn over and pick up through those first 2 loops and then complete your single crochet. The next one through the loop at the top, and then take a look, where is it at the bottom. So you want that same stitch, you see that's where the stitch is, so that back loop there, and complete your single crochet. And what happens here is you're folding your stitches over, the trebles, you're folding them backwards, and you're getting a very nice decorative edge. You can see those 2 there. And you're going to continue and make a folding single crochet through each and every treble. And remember, at a certain point you're going to have 2 trebles that you made in 1 stitch. If I recall that here, for example, here's one. These 2 you made in 1 stitch. So when you're doing this folding treble of single crochet, you're going to do it, both of them you're going to fold in the same loop to the back, because they're both in the same stitch. So these 2 single crochets you'll make in that 1 loop there to the back. So you're going to do all your folding single crochets, and then you will again arrive at this point here. Then I'll just quickly again show you how to do that transition to these first single crochets, and then you can go all the way around. Almost to the ruffles again, have a few more stitches to fold. So pick up a loop on the top of the treble and the base, those 2 back loops, and work a single crochet, just doing the last few folding stitches. That's 2. Have 2 more. Treble here, and then the last treble, which is already kind of folding in itself because it's the stitches next to it. So those are the last folding stitches. You're going to skip the chain 1, and then in the stitch that's behind this single crochet, because you've got that first single crochet of the ruffle there, you did that in the front loop, and then in that back loop, that loop there, you're going to do your first single crochet, because you see here that loop contains the folding stitch, and then that's the loop next to it. You're going to do the first single crochet in there. It's going to be number 1, and then 2 is again an entire stitch, then 3, and continue until you have 18 again, which is going to bring you to the other side. Almost to the other side, single crochet in the stitch, and is the last one, that single crochet there in the back loop of that. So you make number 18. Now you're ready to start folding stitches again. So you're going to skip the chain 1 and the first treble, pick up the back loop of the treble and the stitch it was made in, and work a single crochet, and that you're again going to do on all your stitches. So go all the way around, do all your folding stitches and work these 18 single crochets here to the back. When you get to your first single crochet that you made in that very first stitch, join with a slip stitch to the top of that stitch. Round 99. I'm going to start in the first single crochet that's behind your ruffles. You have here your folding stitches. This is your, if you just pull the ruffle forward, you'll see that's your last folding stitch, that one there, and then this is your first single crochet, and that's the one you're going to work in that stitch. You're going to start with a standing single crochet, of course, in that first single crochet. And now you work 3 more on the next stitches. It's 1, 2, 3 single crochet, so that's 4 in total. Going to skip 3 stitches and then we're going to work a series of trebles. So that's twice over for the treble, and skip 1, 2, 3 stitches. So in stitch number 4, that should be roughly in the center here with these ruffles, not completely but roughly. Make 5 trebles. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 5. You've done 5 trebles in the one. On your next stitch you do 1 treble, and the stitch after is going to be that one, you're doing 5 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is number 5. You can see how I've now worked a small half circle over 3 stitches, so that's 5, 1, 5. Going to skip 3 stitches and then we're working single crochets. Going to skip 1, 2, 3 stitches, then on the 4th one you work a single crochet, and that's the first one of 22. 2, 3, 4, continue until you have 22 single crochets. So those are 22 single crochets worked. That brings you from this little sun here to quite a way into your folded single crochet stitches that you made on the last round. You're now going to do another one of these, and we're also going to start a small repeat unit where we're going to do one of those little half circles and then a series of single crochets. I'm going to show you once, and then after that you do it 2 more times because you need to do it 3 times in total, but it's always the same. So I'm just going to show you once, and it's basically this little shell and a series of single crochets. So we're skipping 3 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3 stitches skip. Then in number 4 you work 5 trebles. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On the next stitch you work 1 treble, and then work 5 again on the stitch after. So you're working this half circle over 3 stitches. So rhythm is 5, 1, 5. 2 trebles, this is number 3. 4 and 5. You're again skipping 3 stitches and then going to work 16 single crochets. So you're going to skip 1, and let me just check where they are. 1, 2, 3 stitches, and on stitch number 4 you work a single crochet, and that's the first of 16. So that was 1, 2, 3, 14, 15, and then this is number 16. So these are 16 single crochets, and you have the half shell here. So this half circle and these 16 single crochets, going to do that 2 more times. Just get you started, and then I'll make a jump in the video. So that means skipping 3 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3 stitches. And then on the 4th you make a treble, and then that is of course the first treble of this whole series. So do this 2 more times. When you've done your repeats, you're just about to your ruffles again. You see, here's my last half shell, and I've worked 16 single crochets. You've done this now 3 times, and at this point you're going to work 6 more single crochets. 1, 2. The third one here is again in that first single crochet that's behind your first ruffle. So that was 3, 4, 5, and number 6. And then this stitch is exactly the same as where we started the whole repeat unit, which was here. So those last 4 stitches are the same as these first 4 stitches here. So now we're going to start with the next half shell behind the ruffles again. So just get you started, and then you're going to do everything 7 more times. So skipping 3 stitches, that's 1, 2, 3, skip. Then you do the first of 5 trebles again. So then you work 5 trebles, 1, 5, 22 single crochets, and then you start that small repeat unit of again a half circle, which is again the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is again 5, 1, 5, and then 16 single crochets. And then you go all the way around, and when you get to that first stitch you close with a slip stitch. So this round you're going to be making a lot of little shells that we're going to be increasing, making them larger in the next round. Round 100 already. You're in the first single crochet, that standing single crochet of the previous round. Going to start with a chain 1 and a single crochet in the same stitch as you have the slip stitch join. If you're using a new color yarn, you start with a single crochet in that stitch, so that would be the 4th from your first shell. Going to start by making trebles on this shell here. You're going to skip the 3 stitches that you still have left, so 1, 2, 3 behind the ruffles. You're going to skip those, and on each and every one of these 11 stitches, that would be the shell, you're going to make 2 trebles on every stitch. That's 2 trebles per stitch. So that will give you 22 trebles on this first half circle. So that was the first one. The second one, also going to do 2 trebles in the same stitch, and I'm going to continue until I've done 2 trebles on every stitch. And on the last stitch also 2 trebles in that same stitch, like so. And if you now look, you'll see that your circle is nice and flat and well, basically it's a half circle from side to side. You're going to skip 3 stitches, those first 3 single crochets you have here, so that'll be 1, 2, 3. Then on number 4 you make a single crochet, and that's the first one of 16. So that was 1, 2, 3, continue until you have 16. And number 16. So that is 16 single crochets. At this point you should have 3 stitches left before you get to your next half circle. And we're now going to do a small repeat again that you're going to do 3 times. So we're going to skip these 3 stitches, work 2 trebles on every stitch, and then work single crochets on this side. So very similar to what we've just done here. So a small repeat that you're going to do 3 times. I'll show you once, and then you can do the other 2 without me, I'm sure. Skipping these 3 stitches on the treble, the first treble here, you're going to work 2 trebles. Exactly the same as for the previous half circle. So it's 2 trebles on every stitch. So you have 11 stitches here again. So on every one, on each and every one of those, you're going to work 2 trebles. And 2. So continue until you have 2 trebles on every stitch. And the last treble on that last stitch. So now I've worked 2 trebles on each and every treble here. You're going to skip the next 3 stitches again and then work 10 single crochets. So that, let me just check, that's 1, 2, 3 stitches skip, then in the 4th you work a single crochet, and that's the first of 10. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now what you've just done, you're now going to do 2 more times, because you see you have here 3 stitches left again. If everything went right, you should have 1, 2, 3 single crochets left, and then you get onto the next half circle. So this you're going to do 2 more times. Work this series of 2 trebles on every treble, skipping 3 single crochets either side, of course, and work 10 single crochets. So now work it on this one here, and the 10 single crochets, and the next one, and 10 single crochets. And I'll see you at this point here, just before you get to the half circle. That's before your next set of ruffles. And when you've done those 3 repeats, so this was just the last half circle and those 10 single crochets, you're almost to the next repeat. So here are your ruffle stitches and that half circle that's behind there. And to get to that point you need to do 6 more single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. At this point you should have again 3 stitches left before the half circle. And now you're at the same point you are when we started this round. So you're going to skip these 3 stitches, work 2 trebles on each, and then on this side work 16 single crochets. And then comes your next series of working these circles and the 10 single crochets. Go all the way around, and when you get to your first stitch, close to that stitch with a slip stitch. Round 101, new color yarn on my hook, and we're going to start in the 3rd single crochet before the half shell that's above the ruffles. So in any ruffle position you can start, because we're going to start doing different things on the different shells, so it's important that you start the correct position. So above your ruffles, go to the third single crochet before the shell. So that's 1, 2, 3, and you start with a standing single crochet, like so. These next 2 stitches that you have left, those 2 single crochets, we're going to skip those, and now we're going to start our repeat unit by working back post trebled on the next 7 stitches. So these 7 trebles here, you work a back post treble on the first 7 stitches, and these back post trebles mean that you're getting a nice edge along your shell. It's 2, 3, need to do 7, 4, here we go, 4, 5, then you need to do 2 more, this is number 6, and the last one, number 7. And there we go. So those are 7 back post trebles on the first 7 stitches. On your next stitch you're going to do 2 back post trebles. There's a small increase here. So on the next stitch you do 2 back post trebles. So 1 and 2. So these are on the same position. Just stack them a little bit on top of each other. So it's 2 on the one position. And we continue and again do back post trebles on the next 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 more, 5 and 6. You have 6 back post trebles. On the next stitch again 2 back post trebles. So that's a small increase. And 2. You have 7 stitches left, 7 trebles, and you're going to work a back post on each of those. So that will be 7 back post trebles on the last 7 stitches. 2. Oh wait, I need to do 2 times yarn over, of course, because you want trebles here. So all back post trebles. Let me just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, so 3 more to get to 7. Yeah, I'm working at a strange angle and then I lose that yarn. And 2 more. And then this is the last one. Just show you where you are right now, like so. So you did 7, 2, 6, 2, 7, and those 2 are both on the same stitch. So this is your first half. You're going to continue with the repeat, skipping the next 2 stitches. So those are those first 2 single crochets. That's 1, 2 stitches skip, and the third single crochet. You're going to do another single crochet, and that's the first of 13. It's 1, 2, 3, and 13. You're now onto a first shell that's above your folded single crochets. We're now going to do a small repeat that you're going to do on all 3 of these shells. And note that the repeat here is slightly different to the one that was above the ruffles. So don't accidentally do here what you did there, because this is different. I'm going to start by skipping only 1 stitch and then doing 10 back post double crochets, because remember here we just did trebles, now we're going to do doubles. So it's important to take note. You have 1 single crochet, you're going left, you're going to skip that stitch and then do back post double crochets on the next 10 stitches. So these first 10 trebles. So there's 3, 4, you're going to do 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then this is number 10, like so. On the following stitch, which is just about in the center, you're going to do 2 back post double crochets. So it's 2 on the same stitch. So that's a small increase. You're going to do the same on the next stitch. So you're going to have 2 double crochets, back post double crochets on the next stitch also. So you've done that 2 times and you have 10 stitches left, and on these 10 stitches you're going to work 10 back post double crochets just like you did here. So it's 10, 2, 2 and 10. And like I said before, this is different to what you did on the shell that's above the ruffles. So pay attention that you have differences here, that you don't do the same on all of these ruffles or all of these shells, that we're differentiating between them. So we're doing 10 back post double crochets, and then if everything went right, then that should bring you to the end of this shell. I've got 2 more and 2, like so. 10 back post double crochets. You're again going to skip the first stitch. That's going to be the first single crochet here, that little one there. Going to skip that stitch and then work a single crochet in the next, and that's going to be first of 8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and number 8. And at this point you're at your next shell, and for this shell for this shell you're going to do exactly the same as you've done here. So you're now going to skip the first little single crochet. You've got 1 single crochet left, and then you're going to start with 10 back post double crochets, then do 2, 2 and 10 again. So at this little unit here, the back post double crochets and the single crochets, do this 2 more times on your next 2 shells. When you've done all 3 repeats, you're almost to your next ruffles again, and you need to do 5 more single crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and here is number 5. At this point you have 2 stitches left, and now you're going to start your repeat unit again. So you're going to skip those 2 stitches and then start here on the back post trebles. So it's important to remember that what you're working behind the ruffles are back post trebles, and that you're working behind the folded stitches are back post double crochets. So keep in mind this difference, that you don't do the same on all of your shells. So you're doing one back post double, back post trebles, and then you're doing 3 shells with back post double crochets, these 3 here. So now you're at start again, so start your repeat. You're going to do 7 more of these repeats, yeah. And when you get to your first stitch, that one there, close with a slip stitch. Round 102, we're going to start with the shell that's above your ruffles, and a note for this part that you're going to do 4 shells, so that's 1, 2, and then 3 and 4, but you're doing different things on all your shells, so don't do the same on shell 1 as you do it on 2 and 3 and 4. So each one you're doing something slightly different, so take note of that. Starting with the shell that's above your ruffle stitches, I'm going to start in the single crochet, this last single crochet here, this one that's just before the shell. And we're going to start there with a standing single crochet in this last single crochet. Like so. And now we're starting our repeat unit. On the first shell, we're doing back post half double crochets on the first 11 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and number 11. So 11 back post half double crochets. On the next stitch you're going to do 2 back post half doubles. That's 1, and that second one you need to just kind of stack on top of that, so that's number 2. And you're doing the same on the following stitch also, so on 2 stitches you're doing 2 back post half double crochets, and there we go, 2. Next one. Coming down, you're going to do 11 back post half doubles again. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, you're working 11, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, number 10, and the last one on your shell here is number 11. There you go. If you look what you've made, you see that you have 2 nice edges here. Now going to continue on the single crochets. We're going to do 4 single crochets on the first 4 stitches. So this is the first single crochet here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochets. Those 4. I'm going to skip 2 stitches, and then we're doing 5 double crochets in 1 stitch. So we're skipping 1, 2 stitches, then the third one, so that's 1, 2, skip, and the third one you do 5 double crochets. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 double crochets. Again, skip 2 stitches. So 1, 2, skip, and do a single crochet in 3 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3. this point you should have one single crochet left before you get to your next shell. And this is going to be shell number 2, this one here. And you're going to do something different than we did to the first one. So we're going to skip the first, or actually the next single crochet. That's just going to be this one. You're going to skip that one. Then we're going to start on the first stitch of the shell with 2 double crochets in this first stitch. It's 1 and 2, and then 3 double crochets on the next 3 stitches. So that's going to be 1, 2 and 3. And this little unit, the 2 double crochets in 1 and the 3 double crochets on 3 stitches, I'm going to do that 6 times. So that was once. So now we work 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. It's 1 and 2. Oh wait, that just went all wrong. I'm going to do that again. So starting the repeat unit again, 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. It's 1 and 2, and then 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. So that was twice. Again, 2 double crochets in 1. It's 1, 2, and then 3 double crochets again. 2 and 3. So that was the repeat 3 times. 2 double crochets again. 1, 2, and then work 1, 2, 3 double crochets, 2 in the same stitch again, 1, 2, and then work 3 double crochets again. That's 1, 2, 3, 2 double crochets in the next stitch, 1, 2, and then of course 3 more double crochets. You have 3 stitches left there on your shell, and my yarn is almost finished here. 3 double crochets, so that's 1, 2 and 3, and I should have done the repeat 6 times. Let me just check that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's 6. Yes, so I've done the repeat 6 times on the second shell. Now moving on to the space between shell 2 and 3, and in that little space there we're going to skip the first 2 single crochets and then work 5 single crochets. So we're going to skip the first 2, that's 1, 2, and then work 5 single crochets. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single crochets. You should have again 1 stitch left before you get to your third shell. So this is shell number 3. You should have 1 single crochet left there. Now we're going to start it's very similar to what we've done on shell number 2, except now we're working single crochets. Remember, here we worked double, so now we're working single crochets. We're going to skip this first stitch here, actually that single crochet. You're going to skip that and then go on to the first stitch of your shell and work 2 single crochets in that first stitch. and then a single crochet on the next 3 stitches. It's 1, 2, 3. You can see how that's very similar to what we've just done. Now work it exactly the same way, but with single crochets instead of doubles. So you're working 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, and then work 3 single crochets. And you're going to do that 6 times. So that's 2 in 1 stitch, and then 3, 2, 3, and then again on your next stitch, you've got about halfway with the repeat, work 2 single crochets, and then work 3 on 3 stitches, and then 2 in the same stitch, 2, and then work 3 on the next 3 stitches, and you're on your last portion of this repeat. On the next stitch I'm going to work 2 single crochets, and you should have 3 stitches left. Those 3, going to work a single crochet on each of those. 2 and 3. And now we're onto the space between shell 3 and 4. So in this little space here, I'm going to skip the next stitch again. I'm going to do it very similar to the previous space. So we're skipping 1 stitch, that's this stitch, and then work 5 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should have 2 single crochets left before going on to your next shell. Those 2 single crochets we're going to skip again, and we're going to work double crochets on shell number 4. I'm going to start by skipping those 2 singles. In the first one, work 2 double crochets. That's 1, 2, and then work 3 double crochets on the next 3 stitches. So this is the same as shell number 2. So what you see here is that shell number 2 was with double crochets, shell number 3 was single crochets, and shell number 4 is again double crochets. And of course shell number 1 were back post stitches too, so they were totally different. So what you have now is 4 different shells, and that's why it's very important to now keep note where you are, that you work the correct stitches on the correct shell, so don't accidentally mix up your shells. So that's 2, and then work 3, 1, 2, 3, and then work 2 again, 1, 2, and 3 again. So 1, 2, 3, and work 2 on the same stitch, and work 3 again. So you're indeed doing this 6 times, just like you've done on all the previous shells with this little idea. So it's 2 on the next stitch, 1, 2, and then work 3 on your last 3 stitches. It's 1, 2, and 3. There we go. So that completes shell number 4, and now we're going to move on to the piece that's between shell number 4 and shell number 1. So this last bit before you basically back where you started, and you can start doing the same thing all over again until you're all the way round. Skipping the first stitch, that's this one here. That one, going to skip that stitch and then work a single crochet on 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. Going to skip 2 stitches and then work 5 double crochets again. So it's skipping 1, 2 stitches, and the 3rd stitch, going to work 5 double crochets. So you're actually making a mini shell again, you're making a new shell. 3, 4, and 5. Skip 2 stitches. So 1, 2, skip, and then do a single crochet on the last 4. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that 4th single crochet should bring you exactly to the same point as where we were when we started this round with that standing single crochet, because your next stitches are on shell number 1 again. So you're now going to make back post half doubles again, and you're going to start your repeat unit. So everything you've just done, do that all the way around, paying attention to the fact that you've got 4 shells. You see, a shell number 1 had back post half doubles, shell number 2 had double crochets, shell number 3 had single crochets, and shell number 4 had double crochets again. Pay attention to the number of stitches that you're skipping or that you're doing in between, and also making these small little mini shells also either side of shell number 1. Go all the way around and then you're ready for next week. When you're all done, this is what your mandala looks like at the moment. You're with these half circles. We're going to complete this in the next 2 parts, so you're almost there. But thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.